Select Committee investigating the January 6th attack issued subpoenas to more than a dozen false electors in key swing states, including former state party chair Andrew Hitt and then Secretary Kelly Rue, both who acted as Republican electors. The committee set an initial deadline for documents this past Friday. Congressman Mark Pocan is also asking the Justice Department to investigate, and he's joining us from Madison. Congressman, thank you for being with us today. Any word back in terms on if there will be that investigation that you want?
Well, Adrian, I think we already saw a signal from the Department of Justice that said they are looking at things, but they won't give details, which is good enough, right? It means they're looking at it. Also, the January 6th committee is looking at it because, I think everyone focuses on those violent acts of attempted insurrection that occurred at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th, but people forget there were several attempts to overturn the November 2020 election results, including this attempt in 7 states, including Wisconsin, that had false electors submitted with forged documents and other, I think, criminal actions in an attempt to try to take away the will of the Wisconsin voters like they were trying to take away in the other 6 states.
You likely know some of these people personally, or you know of them. Do you really believe that they were attempting to commit fraud?
Well, I don't know what else you'd call it. If you know who won the state, which it was very clear at that point who won the state, putting your name out there as an elector and signing a document, in the 7 states, 2 states, the fake electors had a little wink language in there saying, well, we know we're not official, but should, the results get overturned, then we're official. Wisconsin didn't. They said, no, we are the electors. We're the people who represent, who won our state, Donald Trump. And that was an outright lie. So, shady legal maneuvers and forged documents really are criminal actions, and we have to treat that as no different than what happened in Washington, D.C. on January 6th.
Well, I think the pushback on your point, we just had the state GOP chair, Paul Farrow, on. He says that there's precedent for this and that this is just Democrats trying to drum up political theater.
Yeah, well, that's pure cow manure, I think is the best way to describe it. The precedent is when the Democrats and Republicans got together decades ago in Hawaii because there was a legitimate question on who won the elections, and they did joint press conferences and everything. This was done. They hid somewhere before they came to the Capitol. They hid as they did their proceedings. Clearly, they knew what they were doing, or else why would they be hiding? So to say there's precedent, really is saying you don't respect the intelligence of Wisconsin voters to know the difference.
Well, I know that you've been in consultation with some of those January 6th committee members. Are you going to work on any legislation around this issue?
Well, we're looking at it, but right now it's pretty clear that there were violations of the law. So the question is the Department of Justice going to be able to act on that, or are we going to have to perhaps in the future be more clear, although you shouldn't have to. A forged document is forgery. Lying is lying, and it shouldn't take more explicit language. But that's what we're kind of investigating as we see how the Department of Justice and the January 6th committee proceed. And
with the January 6th committee, we mentioned that they set a deadline for Friday for documents from these electors. Do you know the status of their investigation overall?
No, they've had a lot of subpoenas out. Our biggest problem is I've never seen a time, and I've been doing this now for 30 years in government, where people disrespected subpoenas on a regular basis. And unfortunately, coming out of the Trump era, this is something that's happened. So we're hoping that people will be forthright, submit things. Otherwise, that's another illegal action. But we really have to start, regardless of what political party your ideology is, if people ignore subpoenas, that's really, thumbing your nose at our democracy in and of itself, because you're saying that you're somehow above the law.
Okay. Congressman Pocan, thank you.